time for some Buzz Club toast. While that's cooking, I wonder if you can remember what we did last week. Oh, hi. Very nice toast. Hang on. Lovely. Now, I think it's time to go and look in the Bible. So, let's see what's in the Bible today. Oh, hang on a minute. There you are. Well, something to do with a plant by the looks of it. Let's go and find out and see what story we're thinking about today. Jesus told us another story, and it was written down in the Bible so that we can read it today. And it goes like this. Once upon a time there was a farmer, and he went out to sow some seed. Now, in those days, they didn't have tractors and things like that, big machines to help them sow their seed. What they had was a bag that they kept on their shoulder, and inside the bag was all the seed, and they would put their hand in, grab some seed, and then kind of fling it across the land to try to spread it out as evenly as possible. What the farmer wanted was for the seed to land on the good soil so that the roots would go down deep, and that would mean the plants would grow strong and be really healthy, and then they would multiply and make lots and lots of plants and bring in a good harvest. Sometimes the seed went a little bit out of the way that the farmer wanted. It might land in the thorny weeds or the rocky place or on the path. Now, some of the seed did land on the path, but unfortunately those pesky birds were watching, and they flew down and straight away gobbled it all up. It didn't even have a chance to start growing. Some of the seed fell on the rocky ground, and the roots started to go down and the plant started to grow. But when the sun came out and shone down on the plant withered and died because the roots just weren't long enough to help it and weren't strong. Some of the seed landed in the thorny weeds. Now, the roots did quite well. It started off well and shot up, but soon the weeds grew even faster, and they grew and ended up choking the plant. So that one also died. And of course, some of the seed fell on the good soil, and that seed snuggled down into the earth, and the roots went down deep, and the plant grew up big and strong. And it grew and grew and grew, and the sun couldn't damage it, and the birds couldn't eat it, and even the weeds couldn't choke it. And the plant grew so strong, it grew and became lots of plants and became a big, big harvest for the farmer, who was very, very pleased. And that was the end of the story that Jesus told us. Or was was it? Well, it was the end of the story, but then Jesus explained what it all meant. Jesus explained that the seed that fell on the path is a bit like when we hear what Jesus says and then instantly forget about it. Or it goes in one ear and out the other, like when the birds ate it all up straight away. Jesus explained also that the seed that fell on the rocks is a bit like when we hear what Jesus says and get excited and want to know more, but then something happens to make us stop. Perhaps someone tells them it's all rubbish and they shouldn't be listening to Jesus, and the little plants die. He said that the seed that falls amongst the weeds is a bit like people who let other things get in the way of listening to what Jesus says. Maybe letting worry take over, or maybe wanting more and more stuff and letting that be more important than what Jesus says. And then, of course, Jesus explained that the seed that fell on the good soil is like people who listen to what Jesus says. When they hold on to it and try to keep it important, whatever anyone else says. Then, like the plants that grew into a beautiful harvest, Jesus can help us to grow into the beautiful people he has made us to be. Well, that's certainly given me something to think about. I wonder what your favourite part of the story was. I wonder if any of that story surprised you. I wonder if you saw yourself in that story at all. Now we are going to make one of those pesky birds. We're going to make a bird puppet. So let's go and find out how to make it. So to make one of those pesky bird puppets, you need to print out one of these templates. And the first thing we need are some pens. Can I have some pens from one of my bird helpers, please? Thank you very much. That's really helpful. I need some scissors as well, please. Brilliant. And one more thing, some glue, if you don't mind. Look at that. Thank you very much. Now what we need to do first is we need to decorate our bird. So you can choose any colours you want, but you need to do this bit with the two eyes, and this is the bottom of the head. So don't worry about these bits in the middle at the moment. Now we come to the inside of the mouth, and we need a nice arch at the top and then a weird kind of upside down pear thing for the tongue. And of course you can choose any colours you like. If you have used felt tip pens like I have, you'll probably need to let it dry before you cut it out. Then you need to follow the black line with the scissors. Don't cut along the dotted lines. Cut around the whole of the outside following the black line. Now what we need to do is use those dotted lines to tell us where to fold. So just work your way through the whole puppet, folding on the dotted lines. Now when you get to the mouth part, still fold on the dotted line, but then you need to fold it back the other way. Just makes it easier to fold it that way first. And now what we need to do is add the glue onto these two tabs here so that we can stick the whole thing together. So just fold the mouth closed, it just makes it a bit easier. And then you need to tuck the tab in and line up the two straight edges and stick them together. It's a little bit tricky, but I think you can do it. You can always ask somebody to help you if you're not sure. And you can see that already the beak is taking shape. Now all you need to do is exactly the same thing on the other side. So fold the tab over, line up the straight edges and stick it down. And there is your lovely bird puppet. Hello there. I wonder what you're going to call your puppet. And don't forget to pop up the eyes. But do be careful, because these birds don't only eat the seed, they eat lots of different things, so watch out! And you can decorate yours however you like. So that's about everything for Buzz Club this week. I hope that you managed to make a little bird puppet for yourself. And here's a challenge for you. If you can find some sweets at home, or some marbles, or bits of pasta, or anything really, put them all in a bowl and then put an empty bowl over the other side of the table and see how many items your bird can pick up and put in that bowl in a minute. So I'm going to see how many my bird can do. Okay, so I'm going to start a minute timer. Are you ready? Are you ready? Good. Here we go then. There we go. Now let's see how many my bird managed to pick up. How well did you do? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I've lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 sweets. I wonder how many sweets your bird can do. So I will see you next week.